If you're a creative person, you probably understand that inspiration can come from anywhere, but you often need more than just some inspiration to actually get started on those projects and make some headway on them. And that's why I like tools that both inspire you and lay some foundation for you to actually get started. And today I'm going to be talking a little bit about the Story Engine deck of cards by Peter Tchaikovsky and Company, and I'm going to show you a little bit about it. I'm going to show it how it's designed explicitly to inspire you and lay the groundwork for whatever creative project you're working on, from writing comic books, from writing tabletop RPG quests, to novels, to whatever you're working on. Anything, it's going to have you covered. Right. Hello everyone, my name is Cameron. Today I'm going to talk to you about the Story Engine deck. So it comes packaged in this nice little box. The main set is only $37, $36.99 on the website as of today, which is much more affordable than I had thought it was for some reason. I don't remember what I paid for it, but I got in on it after the Kickstarter campaign for it. I think you could do like a late pledge thing through BackerKit, and that's what I did, I believe. And so here we go. We've got the Story Engine. It comes with a gigantic guidebook, and then you see you've got 5 different card types. And now the base set is 37, but there are a bunch of kind of hyper-specific genre expansion packs that you can get. And so when I go through these, you might see some expansion cards that would be an additional cost to you. But there's a bunch of different bundles. You can download just PDFs if you want to do a print and play type thing. So there's a lot of options for you. And so the guidebook has a lot of different recommendations for how to work with the cards and what types of prompts you can do, ranging from pretty simple stuff to more complex things. And so you can, take a look through that. So, for example, they've got and so the guidebook that it comes with is going to have a bunch of different examples for how to use the cards for different purposes, and it's going to vary quite a bit in terms of complexity in how you're dealing with the cards. Again, like with all of these sorts of tools, though, you can really use it in whatever way works for you. So if you find a different way to use them, or if you like tweak one of the example setups in here, that's obviously a-okay and encouraged. You can do whatever you want to get to your specific end goal. It's all fine. And so the way that these work basically is each type of card is going to have a number of prompts on them, usually 2 or 4 depending on the type of card, and basically you'll go through and you will arrange them in certain ways, and you will just often tuck them underneath other cards so that only one of them is showing. And you can see we've got some symbols, so that's going to be the sci-fi expansion, which is going to have a cryopod, an exoskeleton, a body modification, or a star system. These are anchor cards. These are minor locations or objects. We also have agent cards. An agent is defined in the guidebook as any character that has that makes choices in the story that impacts it. So it doesn't have to be the main character necessarily. It can be a really kind of low-level character in the story, but that does something that has some sort of impact on there. We've got aspect cards, which are, modifications for agent cards. And then we've got conflict cards and engine cards. Conflict cards being obstacles that the characters encounter that get in their way of whatever they're trying to accomplish. And engine cards being motivating factors that fuel the characters and drive them forward towards their goal. So, for example, if we look at the agent one, we've got another sci-fi card, a navigator, a technician, a data scientist, an astrophysicist. Let's see if I can find, here's a horror one, a patient zero, a first responder, a lab assistant, an arsonist. And then this is just one of the non-expansion ones, one of the base ones, a misfit, a genius, a monster, a demon. And then some of the aspects, hyper-intelligent, turbocharged, government-backed, expanding. We got poisoned, dwarven, valiant, tyrannical, durable, famous, swift, controversial. So some of these are a little bit more abstract, which is very nice. I enjoy that. And often the cards will kind of be themed a little bit. So you'll get cards that'll be have either opposites or terms that play off each other in some way. And then the conflicts and engines only give you 2, and these are also often tightly woven together. So in this one, and this conflict, we've got, but one way or another, it will be their last adventure, or, but they will be exiled forever. That was a fantasy one. Here is a horror prompt, but they will be blamed for something they did not do, or, but they must cross a line they swore would never cross. But it would mean giving up a fight, but it will start a war. So those would be things. You'd pick one of the two and apply it to your prompt that you're creating. And so these are going to be engine cards right now. We've got wants to sabotage an enemy with, and wants to stop the negotiations for or of something. Those are fantasy ones. Sci-fi one wants to explore a new planet with the help of, or wants to pull off a heist on, with, or of. And then wants to save the world with or from something, and wants to save a life with or from something. So that's an idea of how the cards are sort of situated. We're going to go ahead and we're going to do a very quick, simple prompt called Story Seed. And this is the simplest prompt that's in the guidebook. So let's go ahead. Draw and place one agent to create a character. So I'm going to just grab an agent from somewhere in the middle of the deck. And we've got a horror agent, we've got a fanatic, an escapee, a contortionist, or a werewolf. So I'm not going to I'm leaning towards an escapee. Obviously, I can, we can change that as we go on and we pick more cards. I find it happens to me kind of regularly where as you start laying down cards, you realize, oh, you know what? This other one kind of fits it better now. I kind of like that better. So you switch it. That's completely fine. Also, if you draw a card, sometimes the prompts will tell you to draw like multiple cards and pick one. Sometimes they won't. Obviously, if you draw one and you're like, I don't really like any of these prompts, then you just toss it aside, draw a new one. And like I've said before with similar tools, as you start using it more and you just notice that, oh, there's a few cards that I just don't like. I don't like any of the prompts on these cards. Just set them aside, don't use them, and return to them at some point and reassess if you still have those same feelings. But taking a few cards out of each deck because you're not really into the suggestions on them, completely okay, completely fine. Next step, draw and place one engine to give them a motivation. So let's grab an engine from somewhere towards the bottom of the deck. We'll just grab one. Okay, so we've got wants to defeat or wants to find peace with, in, or for. Okay, let's go with wants to defeat right now. An escapee wants to defeat something. Draw and place one anchor to create something they want. So in this one, we'll just land them on a straight line. Some other ones, it gets a little bit more complex. All right, an anchor. We've got a nebula, a cloaking device, a set of coordinates, an energy shield. Well, I think he wants a set of coordinates. Actually, he wants a cloaking device. He wants a cloaking device. Now we'll draw one conflict, but it will mean laying down arms forever. It will open old wounds. Actually, a set of coordinates, I feel like, goes with that somehow. I feel like that's nicer. All right, and then it says draw an aspect card to add to one of the cards. I'm going to draw 2 aspect cards. I'm just going to add an aspect to 2 of them, and we'll see what goes on. So we've got obsessive, belligerent, holy, or forgotten. Okay, well, forgotten obviously kind of goes with that. I don't like this anymore. We're going to draw a new one of those because we don't really have we're going to draw a new one of those. Okay, and the other aspect is haunted, peaceful, petty, or valuable. See, variable, obviously, forgotten goes with that well, but it's a little too bland. Let's go ahead and let's do the new engine card and see how that goes. Wants to connect with family through, wants to end a family obligation. There we go. 2 set of coordinates. Well, all right, so we've got a belligerent escapee wants to end a family obligation to a haunted set of coordinates, but will open old wounds. I have no idea what the story that is in the aura of these cards actually is, but I like the initial setup here. It sounds like it's going to be a grand space opera going to some old place that's haunted. That was dumb. Cut it out. So it can be that simple, that easy. We've already got a good chunk of stuff that feels pretty connected, pretty tight. I think it's pretty interesting. And you can just keep going. You can do multiple, and then you can kind of see if there's a through line through them. You can do whatever you want. Some of the more complex prompts that they have will have you tucking stuff, a lot. Some of them will have you do multiple ones, and it's kind of a loop, and they all sort of feed into each other to create a sort of, tighter, long form story. I know that there's one here, a Soul Divided, that kind of gives me, it really sets you up for a character to make a really big choice in a story, and I think that one's really fun to play around with. So a lot of cool stuff here. The base set's only $36.99, so no reason, that's really affordable. No reason to not play around with it if you think you're interested in it. Use it for short stories, use it for longer stuff, use it for RPG games, use it for whatever you need it for. What it's here for. StoryEngineDeck.com. Go check it out. I don't have any of them, unfortunately. It's on my list to get, but they also have playmats. They have different designs. They have one for the main Story Engine deck. They have one for the deck of worlds, which is used to create locations, and they've got one for the next set that's going to be shipped out in the next week, next month or two. They've got one for that as well. I really love those things, so I will pick them up eventually. And yeah, that's it. Story Engine. It's really fun. It's really cool. Go take a look at it. Good Christmas gift, too. Christmas is coming up. Give it to a buddy if you want. All right. Have a great day. Thank you. See ya.